A Hat in Time is the game Yooka-Laylee should have been. Both games were crowdfunded, both games promised nostalgic 3D platforming from long ago, and we knew both games would be colorful and charming. Everyone wins, right? Get yourself a drink and listen to the smooth tones of my voice. This is my review of A Hat in Time on a new episode of the Team Attack Show. Warning, the following review has slight spoilers for A Hat in Time. If you don't want to be spoiled, turn away now. Otherwise, please enjoy the video. A Hat in Time, developed by Gears for Breakfast. What a wacky name for a development studio. I mean, who eats Gears for breakfast other than robots? Is a GameCube-era 3D platforming game that has a little bit of Banjo-Kazooie, a little bit of Mario Sunshine, a little bit of Billy Hatcher, a little Sly Cooper, and it adds up to one hell of an adventure with our protagonist, Hat Girl. She's on her way home, just minding her business, and through no apparent fault of her own, aka some outside shenanigans, we find our hero needing to get her timepieces back. It's what fuels her ship. It starts like every collectathon, what you had was lost, and it's up to you to get it back in working order. You find yourself in a strange world only to be greeted by another little girl who, strangely enough, has a mustache. Yeah, no explanation there, but this game has a few of those things that need explaining. Like, where is Hat Girl coming from when her adventure starts? Where is Hat Girl going when the adventure ends? How are people just able to get on the Hat Girl ship so easily? Why is security so lax? Has she ever heard of the TSA? All of those silly things aside, I can suspend my disbelief enough to not let those questions detract from the game. One of the very first things that caught my ear was just how catchy and infectious the music was. The Hat in Time main theme sets the tone for the entire game. You'll hear it remixed in the file select screen all the way through to the end of the game. It's carefree, whimsical, and I don't know, it just works for the game. Every music track seems to have been specifically crafted for every world, bonus area, and boss theme. I never listened to a track and thought, this song sucks. It actually made me feel a deep connection with the overall theme of each world. I actually got a little sad when I completely finished an area, but I immediately got excited because I thought to myself, Ack, everything's gonna be okay. Because you're about to go on another world, baby. So it's all good. While we're on the topic of worlds, let's talk about these areas real quick. You'll explore a sprawling city called Mafia Town, full of Mafia members who think a little too highly of themselves. The Mafia are all dudes who don't need the help of anyone else. They run their town with their own signature Mafia style, complete with a dress code, a beach, and even a headquarters. You'll explore a movie studio set called Dead Bird Studio, and battle for the favor of two dueling directors. One director will have you solving mysteries on a runaway train complete with crows who fish for your personal information. The other director will make you the star of the movie, chasing adoration and appeal from your so-called fans. You'll explore Subcon Forest, a haunted swamp, and you'll be an errand girl while fighting for your very soul. Is Hat Girl even old enough to sign documents so severe? You'll roam through a haunted house, unclog a monster toilet, and do battle with a boss that's out of this world. You'll ascend the Alpine Peaks and be tested on every skill you've ever learned in the game. I hope you enjoy dashing through the air like Superman. Every world has a central theme, with a problem that you gotta fix. The mission-style retrieval of timepieces is, in my opinion, what makes the game so engaging. You'll enter the world thinking, okay, I just gotta get this timepiece and I can move on. But the game gets you emotionally invested in ways that you might not have seen coming. One moment you'll be trying to scale a large building, and the next moment, the entire level's on fire. There's flavor text and fluff with a bunch of interactable objects. NPCs have full voice acting, so it's not like you're speaking to a robot. Every world is teeming with so much life and personality that no aspect seems forced or ham-fisted. In fact, only the first world seems like a standard 3D platformer stage. But from the second world on, you're introduced to mechanics and narratives that put this game far and above any platformer that's not Mario Odyssey. Believe it. As you already figured out, the hats that you don are a central part of the game and allow Hat Girl to be Hat Girl. You can blow things up to collect loot, freeze stomp and travel great distances, run super freaking fast, slow down the very essence of time and space, and make intangible objects tangible. That's spooky. One of the most important parts of a 3D platformer is control. I'm of the belief that my degree of enjoyment for a game is directly proportional to how tight the controls are. As you're probably already noticing, A Hat in Time is more floaty than not. Its central mechanic is jump diving, a move that allows you to get around effortlessly while crossing the largest of gaps. Inputting jump followed by a dive will allow you to jump again before needing to touch the ground to reset. This means Hat Girl doesn't need the long jump from Mario games or even a double jump from games like Banjo-Kazooie. She's even agile enough to shimmy up walls and walk tight ropes like she was in a circus. She can even wall jump. The game pushes you to see which gaps you can cross and which you can't, and rewards you handsomely with items and knickknacks to expand your adventure, like remixed music, costume changes, and extra timepieces to go after. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the control feels great and moving around is pretty effortless. In no time, you'll be scaling buildings and collecting all the things. And that's not to say the game isn't without flaws. One of the more aggravating things I had to deal with was aiming properly with tight ropes. Shoutouts to Sly Cooper for nailing this game mechanic. You see, when playing a 3D platformer, you can see where you're going to land when you jump and see your shadow along the ground. But when you introduce tight ropes into the mix, it becomes a game of how good your depth perception is. I found myself falling for free when I felt I shouldn't have. Luckily, tightrope walking is a very small part of traversing some areas, so I was able to keep my cool and make it through eventually. The game also doesn't do a great job at communicating controls other than when you're wearing your hats and doing basic attacks. For example, you can just press the attack button and smack enemies with your umbrella, but the game never tells you that you can jump and attack enemies until you're getting the crap beat out of you. I don't mind having to figure that out on my own, but not being taught even for a brief moment that you could do that was a little unfortunate. Since the game is being advertised to old school platformers, leaving out important information like this might not be a deal breaker, but I feel sorry for any newcomers. A little information never really hurt anyone. Also, like I was saying earlier in the review, this game doesn't do a great job on shedding light on Hat Girl's history or why she's even here. Sure, it might not matter in the end, but when you introduce a bunch of fluff and extra content to flesh out the worlds that you visit, even when you're walking around your ship, surely the developer couldn't spend just a little bit more time expanding on our hero's past? Like, we learn about how Mafia Town came to be, we learn why Queen Vanessa runs the haunted house in Subcon Forest, we know about the goats and the Twilight Ascent in the Alpine Peaks, but nothing more about Hat Girl. Why you do this? Despite all these things, A Hat in Time is a damn good game. It doesn't try and reinvent the things that made 3D platforming wonderful. You can tell it was a labor of love, and it shines through every song, every world, and every boss fight. Any other studio that wants to make a good 3D platformer going forward, sit down and take notes from A Hat in Time. A Hat in Time gets a must-buy from me. If you can imagine it, I'm tipping my hat to this game right now. If you grew up playing 3D platformers, you're silly if you skip this one. It's available on Windows, Mac, PS4, and Xbox One. Thank you so much for watching my review on A Hat in Time. Please leave a like and feel free to comment just below the video on what you thought of the game. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/blakinola. You can also support the show on Patreon. Even $1 goes a long way. I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.